Kanye West is falling apart. A very public display. First, let me preface this by saying that this is a little bit different video than I usually do, but I think it's so important to do because as a watchman on the wall, you take note of what's happening in the world so that you can warn others. This right here is a very public meltdown, which is happening with Kanye right now. And I have to say that the reason I want to do a video like this is because it's a perfect example of somebody who sold their soul to the devil for fame and fortune. And like many other rock stars that, if you're of my genre, you've watched for the last 40 plus years, other rock stars melt down, unable to handle what they've done. Now, I've argued before with many people that you cannot make it to the level that this person has made it in the entertainment industry without outright selling your soul to the max to Satan. Now, Kanye burst on the scene some 10 years ago or right around there, and he shot right to the top. He squandered a lot of money. Of course, he's in sex, drugs, rock and roll. He's getting exactly what he bargained for, but in my opinion, you're seeing a public meltdown because this guy cannot handle what he did. And most rock stars can't. If you research the 27 Club, you'll see a number of rock stars who died at the age of 27. But most of them, as they get further on into their years, they cannot handle what they've done, and they realize that they've thrown it all away, that sex, drugs, and rock and roll does not bring you happiness. And so if you've heard what Kanye did, he had a kind of a meltdown in one of his concerts the other night. And he started yelling some crazy things to Jay-Z and Beyonce. And so it leads me into wondering what's going through this guy's mind. And you can kind of read some of the headlines here that he was actually, this is just 32 minutes ago, he tried to assault a gym employee, and here it says that he was placed on a 5150 hold, which is a hold for a mental evaluation, because this guy is just losing it. Now, in my opinion, as you can see here, here's a article on how Snoop Dogg voices his confusion over Kanye West's latest onstage rant. Snoop Dogg is another one who sold his soul. In fact, he's got some heavily satanic videos, which are quite disturbing. But Snoop's in it for the long run, right? He's been in the game since the early 90s. In my opinion, Snoop's, his conscience is completely seared. But I think a guy like Kanye really quite can. And, everybody's different. Kanye is one of those who is of the understanding that, he realizes what he did, and he realizes that, as the book of James tells us, our life is but a vapor. And the deal he made was desperately flawed. Kanye will go to hell for all eternity. You got to ask yourself, as you look at one of Kanye's album covers, he mocks the name of Jesus and calls him Yeezus with a Y. You got to think, what does this have to do with music? And the answer is nothing. But if you want to make it in this world, if you want to have fortune and fame, you've got to sell out to Satan. And when you sell out to Satan, you don't get to bring your artistic views to the front. You have to do what Satan tells you to do. And one of the things that Satan wants you to do is to get as many humans as possible away from the truth of Jesus Christ. And how do you do that? Well, you mock what Jesus did. You disparage it. You tear it down. And when you get a young hip-hop star to do this, they're going to respond to what this guy does, for it is a form of worship. There are people out there that worship rock stars. And so when he does it, the masses do it. And this has always been the way it's been. Now, one of the more troubling things as you look at yet another album cover is that it's much more prevalent in these days compared to what they did, even though it was bad 40, 50 years ago with the likes of Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, and on through the 80s where it was all about sex and Prince and Madonna and all those others. But now they're actually putting quite frequently upside down crosses, as you see, with not only Kanye West, but also the likes of Kesha and, oh, what's that girl's name?